From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, August 25th. A warmer and more uncomfortable day is in store for today. Mostly sunny skies, a little bit more humid, and highs are in the mid-80s. In breaking news we followed this morning, a high school student is dead, killed in a shooting in Greenwood. It happened in a housing addition. A Whiteland High School sophomore died. He was waiting at the bus stop, according to police. Police say he was a 16-year-old student, and police also believe he was targeted. Officers say he lives just 3 doors down from the bus stop near Worthsville Road and US 31 where the shooting happened. Police say there were other children around when it happened. The shooting sparked Greenwood High School to go on lockdown, then transitioned to a lockout, and Clark Pleasant schools went on lockdown to visitors. Clark Pleasant also canceled classes on its Central Line campus. And a person is dead and another is injured after crashing on the interstate. It had the ramp from Washington Street to 465 southbound shut down this morning. It happened around 5:20. State police say someone initially reported a person walking on the interstate. Troopers say they didn't find that person until about 15 minutes later, and they appeared to be injured in the crash. That person went to the hospital. No word on his or her condition. Medics pronounced the other person dead at the scene. A chase leads to gunfire from an officer as police arrest one person, seize several guns, and search for 2 more people. It all started last night at the Briargate Apartments near 30th and Post Road. IMPD says detectives were checking out a report of gunshots and tried to stop a car with 3 people inside. Officers say the car took off to a different apartment complex nearby where the driver and passengers got out and ran. At some point, an officer fired at one of the people. IMPD says officers do not believe the gunfire hit anyone. Police caught and arrested one of the 3 suspects. They are still searching for the other 2. Detectives say they found a number of guns during the arrest. IMPD says the officer who fired the shot will be on standard administrative leave during the investigation. A former youth soccer coach and the Indiana Soccer Association face a lawsuit this morning. A promising young player claims the coach sexually abused her, derailing her dreams. Attorneys for 19-year-old Haley Osborne filed the suit Wednesday in Hamilton County. Documents show Osborne accuses coach Jeremy Tudela of forcing her to have sex with him multiple times while she attended his soccer academy in southern Indiana. Osborne says the abuse happened from November of 2018 to June of 2019. Police arrested Tudela in August of 2019 on child seduction charges. He eventually pleaded guilty and was sentenced to a year in prison and 2 years of home detention. Osborne gave News 8 permission to use her name through an attorney. We do not typically identify victims of sexual crimes without their consent. And now the suit claims that Osborne began playing soccer for Tudela in 2015. That would have made her 12 years old at the time. The lawsuit also claims Tudela faced allegations of sexual misconduct with a minor as early as 2006. But the Indiana Soccer Association and the United States Youth Soccer Association continue to allow him to coach. Osborne signed to play college for the IU women's soccer team, but she rejected her full-ride scholarship. The lawsuit claims she couldn't overcome the mental anguish from the abuse. Her attorney hopes with her coming forward, this will help her find peace. And if there are others, they will come forward as well. A group of activists is leading a conversation around protecting thousands of tenants from utilities shutting off. Citizens Energy says JPC Affordable Housing has $1.7 million in unpaid bills. The utility says it will shut off service to JPC's properties, Berkeley Commons, Covington Square, Capitol Place, and Woods at Oaks Apartments on September 30th. Last night, a group of faith leaders hosted a town hall with elected officials and citizens representatives to talk about the issue. Tenants had the chance to express concerns. Some say the move would punish them instead of the failing landlord. Citizens and the city say they are negotiating several settlement agreements to avert the shutoff. They're looking for a buyer who is not affiliated with JPC to take over the properties. And the police chief for the Uvalde, Texas school district is off the job. The school board voted unanimously last night to fire Pete Arredondo. Arredondo has been on leave since 1 month after the mass shooting that killed 19 students and 2 teachers. Arredondo claims he did not consider himself to be in charge that day, but a state investigation found that he was, and that officers acted far too slowly. The board made its decision in a closed session after hearing comments. Arredondo did not attend the meeting. His attorney issued a statement saying the district was not following legal procedure and that Arredondo was concerned about his safety. The White House says applications for student loan debt cancellation will be available before the end of the year. More than 40 million Americans could be eligible under the long-awaited plan President Biden announced Wednesday. Biden promised to erase $10,000 in the debt for people who make less than $125,000 a year. The cancellation doubles to $20,000 for those who receive Pell Grants to attend college. Repayments are set to restart in January. If the plan survives possible court challenges, most people will need to apply for the relief. The Education Department says it has income data for a small share of borrowers, but the vast majority will need to prove income through the application process. The plan does not apply to future college students. Biden is proposing a separate rule to reduce monthly payments on student debt to no more than 5% of income, down from 10% in existing plans. Users of studentaid.gov are now experiencing long wait times. When you visit the site, you'll likely get a message on the homepage saying the site is struggling under the high volume of visitors. Once you get past that message, another one pops up at the top saying some pages may take longer to display than usual. This morning, we were checking and it was taking about a minute for the website pages to load. And the deadline is extended to buy baby formula with federal nutrition benefits. The USDA extended it to the end of the year or when states end their emergency declaration status. The extension is for families who buy formula using the program for women, infants, and children. The USDA says the goal is to help families still struggling find their preferred brand due to the nationwide formula shortage. Today, Governor Holcomb heads to South Korea. Holcomb wrapped up his stay in Taiwan yesterday. The governor's office is sharing some about his visit. It included the signing of a memorandum of understanding aimed at building stronger ties between Indiana and Taiwan in areas of manufacturing, agriculture, technology, and academics. To the war in Ukraine, the death toll has risen after Russia attacks a train station in the east on Ukraine's Independence Day. Officials say at least 25 people are dead, including 2 children after yesterday's attack. They say 31 people are injured. A jury says Los Angeles County must pay $16 million to Kobe Bryant's widow. The jury decided on the award after agreeing that the photographs that deputies took and shared at the scene of Bryant's death were an invasion of privacy. Vanessa Bryant sued alongside the family of another victim of the 2020 helicopter crash. Courtroom sketches show them hugging after the verdict. 9 people, including Bryant and his daughter, were killed in the 2020 crash. Whole Foods is under fire in a lawsuit claiming that the grocery chain isn't telling the whole truth when it comes to some of its meat products. The nonprofit Farm Forward says it found antibiotics when testing Whole Foods meat labeled as antibiotic-free. The group says it hopes to keep the company honest and prevent antibiotic resistance. Whole Foods has yet to respond to the claim. And today, a vote to decide if California will eventually ban the sales of cars that run on gas. If the California Air Resources Board passes the policy, it would be the first ban of its kind in the world. It wouldn't take effect for at least 13 years. Supporters say the ban would drastically reduce emissions and air pollutants. Opponents worry electric vehicle infrastructure isn't where it needs to be yet. The proposed ban would let people drive and buy used gas cars after 2035. A 17-year-old broke 2 world records for flying around the world. Mac Rutherford landed in Bulgaria yesterday. He's now the youngest person to fly around the world by himself. An 18-year-old had set the previous record last year. Rutherford is also the youngest person to fly around the world in a microlight plane. He took that record from his older sister, who did it earlier this year at 19 years old. The siblings took a picture together after his flight. And to the Colts, the final day of training camp moves indoors. Only the first 750 fans at Grand Park will get to watch practice. Injuries and illness plagued the team just days before its final preseason game. Starting center Ryan Kelly tested positive for COVID, so he's out. Lineman Kwity Paye went down during team drills yesterday, hurting his left knee. The team is optimistic that that injury is nothing serious. However, the season may be over for punter Rigoberto Sanchez. The Colts say he ruptured his Achilles during practice on Tuesday. The team signed veteran punter Matt Hack to fill the Sanchez void. Jeff Gordon is coming back to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He's set to drive a Porsche 911 Labor Day weekend in races on the road course. Gordon will see a familiar face in the garage and pits as he teams up with crew chief Ray Evernham. They last worked together in 1999. We got all the details on practice, qualifying, the race, and tickets right now online. Just click on this story under the As Seen On section of wishtv.com. Finally, to business headlines, the IRS will forgive $1.2 billion in late filing fees from COVID pandemic. The IRS estimates that some 1.6 million filers of 2019 and 2020 returns will be issued refunds or credits by the end of September for most of the fees that they incurred. Soaring electricity prices amid the global energy crunch have led to 20 million American households falling behind on their utility bills. The National Energy Assistance Directors Association says the problem has been exacerbated by both Russia's war against Ukraine and summer heat waves. Google confirms a new attack can read all Gmail messages. Google says an espionage threat group backed by the Iranian government has a new tool that's been used to successfully hack a small number of Gmail user accounts. It recommends not using weak passwords and implementing two-factor verification on your Google account. Smartphone makers are reporting big downturns in smartphone buying, and analysts think it's because people are holding on to their phones longer. But the market is still high for expensive phones. People still apparently like buying those. Nearly every smartphone maker besides Samsung and Apple reported lower smartphone shipments in the second quarter. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.